there's one thing I like, ladies and gentlemen. It's a good underdog story. I can promise you that this character, Magmatrooper, anytime there's an underrated video, he's so underrated, he falls underneath the underrated radar. We're talking about Magmatrooper dunking on some galactic legends with a small asterisk. If you guys have been watching the channel for years, ever since Magmatrooper came out, I've always tried to make this guy do some crazy stuff. Always trying to find ways to take Magmatrooper, take on the meta, take on the raids, and there is always a nice degree of success with this guy. Realistically, this is truly, I mean, the last time I made an underrated video was like 2020. This guy gets turn meter so easily. I believe they had to slightly nerf it so he didn't get as much. But anytime he resists or he suffers a detrimental effect, he gets 70% turn. That is a massive amount of turn meter that just instantly happens, and has a pretty solid turn meter removal ability. Well, there's actually some cool stuff going on, but there's a kind of a few asterisks you gotta talk about. Before we get to that, let me show you the little backstory why I decided to look into this here. So I saw this post on Reddit a couple days ago from Ninja9, who was like, I'm having trouble believing this is even possible. And at first glance, I could see how that's the case. Listen, we were battling top 50, top 100 Kyber. I didn't see anyone pulling this even up against me. This is kind of a niche thing, kind of cool to put on your radar, but it is definitely possible. The numbers kind of back it up. I mean, maybe not super successful, but definitely a decent success rate to try to get through a Jabba without the need of a galactic legend or two-shotting Night Sisters. So I decided to take it upon myself because I really wasn't seeing this anywhere or being talked about. And here's where we get to two important caveats. Caveat number one, the most important caveat, you need a Datacron to make this work. I'm going to show some non-Datacron gameplay later on, and it doesn't really work without a Datacron. I mean, it doesn't really, it's kind of a stretch. And secondly, it hinges on your opponent not having the brand new Datacrons that just came out with the Bausch Leia one. It has a lot of damage immunity baked in. This is very niche, and really it seems like this only is going to work for just basically this one past season of Grand Arena, because most people are going to move their Datacrons to Bausch Leia for Jabba. In essence, this is a very simple process. The Datacron currently for Imperial Troopers, we already know this part. It feeds so much buffs on Terminator 2 Imperial Troopers. You get so much buffs on the basics, so much buffs on the level 6 if you get the defense penetration up and offense up at the end of the turn. And of course, Veer's lead is able to give you turn meter based on buffs. That's like, what, 50% turn meter or something that's constantly happening because of the Datacron. Kind of a big deal, and kind of all you need a Datacron to pull this off with. You know me, I'm already kind of hesitant showing Datacron specific counters, but it's kind of cool. And who knows, it's not like a super complicated Datacron to get access to. I think it's more uncommon to have high relic Magmatroopers than having a Datacron, to be honest. Let's just show you how this operates. I mean, I ran this battle a bunch of times. I definitely could see why it's only like, maybe somewhere 70, 80% consistent. I have Magmatrooper with tons of tenacity because we do not want Magmatrooper getting thermal detonators on. But as you see, it doesn't matter if we resist or suffer a debuff. Boom! 70% turn meter. Smack that booty. Let's show you what happens here. Magmatrooper opens up and does a big turn meter removal. Look at that. Next play is I like to make sure we get strategic assessment going, which, as we know, Scout Trooper does a lot of things. More importantly, you get stagger, expose on the enemy. And lastly, before we throw this on full auto, let me show you this part. Piet does mark on Magmatrooper, and mark is a debuff. Watch all the turn meter we get. Boom! Basically, we're at 100%. And basically, at this point, you just throw it on auto and watch it go to the race. All those buffs from Magmatrooper constantly running the engine that we have are the biggest loss condition. I think it mostly comes down to modding. You need a good degree of tenacity on Magmatrooper because you don't really need to focus too much on potency, because Magmatrooper, oddly enough, already has nice, decent base potency. So I focus primarily on tenacity sets, and once you start rolling, baby, you are rolling. Look at that. Basically, it's an infinite loop situation going on up against Jabba. Almost, I should say, because you got Chrysanthemum resisting, so they can maybe get in here, get some work done. But again, because of tenacity mods, we're resisting shock, trying to resist as much as possible, slapping them down left and right. You can go get yourself a cup of Java juice, come back, and this is nice. I kind of wish I had this on the tactile scanners for this past month of Grand Arena, but as we're going to show, I think this is a very limited time event. The Datacron's still going to be here, but just the new Datacrons that are showing up that are going to greatly benefit the Hut Cartel. Look at it, even Piet Mark's Magmatrooper console, which is fantastic. I don't think this is going to work quite as well. You can still loop, but you loop to the point where you basically can't get through the Jabba if they have the damage immunity cron. We'll go more in detail, but look at this. I could just sit here. I got this for my birthday. I got this cool little R2-D2 mug. I call these nuclear bombs because the Lady of Alderaan dropped one of these beverages and made a big hole in the floor. Yeah, I don't know why people need this type of protection for their water, but that's just me. Oh, that was a good sip right there. Yeah, oh yeah, by the way, we're still playing the game. Probably should throw this on airplane mode just so I don't knock him back. There we go. I mean, there's not much to it. This is so cool, and it really just comes down to Magmatrooper just running that train. Now, you don't need Relic 7 like I do. I'm just a big lover of Magmatrooper. I'm seeing people pull this off with lesser relics on Magmatrooper. The most important thing is you got to have Magmatrooper at least Relic 3 so you can take advantage of the Datacron. That's the other caveat with Datacron. Let's not get too much into the weeds of it. But as you can see, this is super simple. I'll run it one more time just so you can see it's not fluky. I mean, there might be a possibility you're going to come across an opponent that doesn't have a Jabba cron, but you have this Imperial Trooper cron. You might come across an opponent that maybe has the newer cron, but doesn't have the damage immunity that's cooked into it. So just to go to show, I think there still might be an opportunity. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing myself having this opportunity inside a Grand Arena. I think we can all agree this is mostly going to be a win. Pretty simple dunk that we have cooking here. Let's go roll it one more time, and then we're going to show some gameplay showing why, unfortunately, this is only Datacron La La Land. And you guys know how I am. It's just like, I try not to show Datacron, super Datacron specific counters. I like to show counters that are applicable, really, no matter the Datacrons, no matter the time of year. But that's just the way it is. Things will never be the same. So again, let them open up. Magmatrooper resisted. Look, jumping ahead of the line. We're going to do some Terminator removal. Mark down Magmatrooper. Beautiful. Just keep doing some basic Scout Trooper, dropping that out. And you can just basically hit full auto at that point. I mean, maybe they could just completely full auto it. My biggest concern is that Scout Trooper and Piet might not get the right opening place. That's why I like to just take manual control over the situation. Look at all that massive Terminator from Magmatrooper, constantly getting buffed with the basic, with all this other shenanigans going. The guy just absolutely runs a circle. He is, again, Magmatrooper is one of the most abusable characters when it comes to really taking advantage of the massive turn meter gains. I really believe, oh, this is actually where it looks like we might lose range Trooper. I don't know, it looks like he'll be fine. There we go, marking down, it looks like, yeah, marking down Magmatrooper again. Just again, let it run on auto, let them do their thing. We got all this stagger, so much terminal. Again, this does seem to work, even without the Scout Trooper. Death Trooper seems to be okay. You know, you get that death mark, it can really speed things up here, but I really like Scout Trooper, but Scout Trooper might not be super applicable to most people because he's kind of, you know, a little bit newer on the menu, and you're not, many people have a Relic. But as we showed with the data here, it's looking like we have opportunities to make this work with Death Trooper and even some people with Dark Troopers. So the more accessible ones that are existing out there. It just really kind of sucks that this doesn't seem to work without the data card. This would have been so cool if this was a more permanent situation. Heck, even for at least a few more months. But man, they really are bolstering Jabba this upcoming season. It sucks Range Troopers got shocked. So they're not going anywhere. Hopefully we get that out. Boom. Look at all that damage. All that Emperor's Trap. The offensive Magmatrooper hitting for some really solid damage right now. Boom, boom, boom. Look at it. Turns, 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 turns. Look at this guy. Boom, boom, boom. Marking him again. I kind of wonder. I've never actually put Imperial Troopers on full auto too often. If they always just keep on auto, marking the character that they've already marked in the very beginning. There we go. Look at that. Again, boom. Like, they're barely getting any plays in here. Look at this. I mean, we're missing out on Range Trooper getting in on the action. They're just still rolling a massive cheesy train here. All right, boom. Terminator removal again. Boom. Yeah, keep setting it. Keep setting. Look at Magmatrooper splash damage going around Chrysanthemum. Range Trooper, come on, man. You got to pick up the pace a little bit. There we go. Poor Range Trooper. That simple shock from Chrysanthemum can sometimes cause a little bit of annoyance, but it's fine. There we go. It's going to be going down. We're yelling timber. So there you guys go. Let's roll this out, and I'm going to show you why, unfortunately, this is a very temporary, situational thing that you're not going to be able to run that often. So the newest Datacron set, let's talk about that because, you know, most people who are in Grand Arena, they're probably facing a degree of Datacrons here. Most people that are inside of the top Grand Arena experience, they're going up against, or soon will be going up against, Bausch Leia Datacrons. Now, I don't have any yet. We just started the new season, and Conquest has got up and running here. God, I hate the Datacron cash cap after they scrapped the old one. This is trash, beyond trash. Anyways, we're not turning this into a Datacron hate video, although we know I hate them. Scorching Ambitions bringing about a few issues. Number one, we have this, I think it's HUD Cartel. Yeah, this is kind of a problem. This right here, HUD Cartel getting damage immunity, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. I can loop them, but I can't get through damage immunity, so we'll show footage of that. And the other problem that we have here, also, I guess here, they get turn meter and health protection recovery, which makes it complicated. Again, it's just the damage unit makes this way more complicated. The other problem is we have this Bausch Leia Datacron here. Where's she at? There we go. Bausch Leia Datacron, where she really ramps up the thermal detonators by quite a lot. She inflicts additional thermal detonators. So, rolling the gameplay here, you can see, you know, the concept is still there. Imperial Troopers, Magmatrooper, able to run a massive turn meter train. And, you know, if you can get the right battle, assuming that Leia doesn't completely decimate you with all the crazy extra thermal detonators going on with her Datacron, you can roll the train. But the issue is, once the enemy hits 50% health, which is, it's got to happen with the Imperial Troopers, there's no sidestepping it. All of a sudden, you're looping them, but you're not doing any damage. Basically kind of stonewalling yourself. Now, eventually, some of them pop out of the damage immunity, and you can drop them. But to get through a 5-minute battle and kind of really time out the damage immunity and wait for the drop, it's going to be a lot more complicated. So is there a non-zero chance that it could work? Yeah, I'd say there's a non-zero chance, meaning there's probably a chance, but it's not going to be as easy as it was that was available for the small window of the past couple Grand Arenas. But again, if you're not fighting the Bausch Leia Datacron, they don't have the damage immunity, and you happen to have this Imperial Trooper cron because, you know, I think you can pull it off then. So there still might be a chance over the next couple months you can use it, which is why I'm putting it on your tactical scanners. But the big question that I care about and most of you guys care about, does this work without the Datacron? And I think it's a resounding no. Mainly because that Datacron the Imperial Troopers have is just way too much turn meter that they'd be missing out on. The basics, constantly feeding turn meter to the team, and also the level 6, being able to feed so much turn meter to the team. You're missing out on so much more turn meter. You're not running the same massive train that you just saw a moment ago. So, you know, is there a non-zero chance you can make this work without Datacron versus no Datacron? I'd say it's much more complicated than the other scenarios that I presented to you guys. But overall, I think it's going to wrap it up for today. I wanted to look into, I was really curious, but I was really mostly curious, could this work without a Datacron on my side, without a Datacron on the opposing side? And I'm not quite seeing it, so kind of unfortunate. This is only a temporary thing if you have at least a Relic 3 Magmatrooper, and if you happen to have the Datacron for Imperial Troopers that has the right level 3, has the right level 6, and the rest of your team is Relic 3 minimum, and the Jabba you're fighting doesn't have the damage immunity. All right, how many conditionals was that? All right, everyone, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you at least had fun. That's the number one most important thing. I think we learned some stuff. We're appreciating underrated characters that just don't get quite enough love. And this is my casual reminder once every few moons. This is by far, I think, one of the most underrated characters in Galaxy Heroes, period. And I actually got a few more tricks I don't think I've really shown people, so maybe we'll talk about that another day. Leave that like, comment down below, subscribe so you're not missing a thing. And always remember that it's great to be in the Empire today. The sun never sets.